Hello, my name is NJ Franco, and these are my thoughts on the Heroes of Olympus, The Blood of Olympus by Rick Riordan. So, first off, this video will contain some spoilers. However, I will make sure to save those spoilers for the end of the video, and I will also give you plenty of warning before we get to that point, okay? So, first off, pretty much from the beginning of this book, I was getting ready to throw hands with Jason because at the very beginning, Jason describes how he hates feeling old. Okay, and I'm like, listen here, mofo, you're 17, I'm 40. Don't talk to me about what it feels like to be old. Okay, but as I read more into this, it turns out that Jason was wearing a very elaborate disguise to make him look like an old man, and this disguise was so elaborate that he even felt old. His bones creaked, his back hurt, and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, fine. So he actually does feel like an old man, so I'll back off. And initially I was like, listen here, you. But anyway. So anyway, moving on. At one point, the group has to fight the goddess Nike, who is the goddess of victory. And I find it kind of amusing how she is partially defeated with the use of participation trophies. Because the goddess of victory, she's all about being number one and everything like that. She doesn't like participation trophies. So when Leo and the rest of the guys were like, "We want a participation trophy," they knew that was going to get under her skin, and it did, and they were able to use that to help defeat her. But as this happened, I'm like, Nike is put off by participation trophies. She hates those so much that she is basically, in my mind, the boomer of the book because she's like, "Oh God, participation trophies, no!" I thought that was funny. But continuing on with the goddess Nike, um, Leo makes a mini Archimedes death ray because if you remember, I think it was either Mark of Athena or the House of Hades. I don't remember which one, but I think it was Mark of Athena. But either way, at one point, Leo um, may finds an Archimedes death ray, and people are like, "Oh, that thing was proven it doesn't work." On MythBusters, they make a MythBusters reference. I freaking love that they did that. Well, he later on he makes a mini version of the Archimedes death ray, and Nike is like, "Oh, I've seen that on TV. That thing will never work." And I'm like, "Hey, they made another MythBusters reference." But anyway, uh, this Archimedes death ray, this mini Archimedes death ray, is described as having celestial bronze mirrors. And I'm kind of like, see, Mythbusters, that's all you needed to do. You just needed to find some celestial bronze mirrors to build your Archimedes death ray. I mean, how hard can that be? Find some celestial bronze mirrors. That's all they needed to do, and poof, myth confirmed, right? But they didn't do that, but whatever. So anyway, moving on. Nico. Okay, so early on in Percy Jackson and the Olympians, Nico kind of quickly became my favorite demigod. And now, as I've been reading the Heroes of Olympus series, I started to take a liking towards Leo. I've mentioned that in previous videos. But Nico not only has been moved down to my second favorite demigod, he's actually starting to move even further down because Nico, he is starting to become a bit too emo for my liking, okay? Because, like, at one point, Annabeth is being really nice to Nico. She's trying to be friendly to him. And he's like, oh, God, I wish, Annabeth would just hate me like everyone else because that would just make some things so much easier. And I'm like, listen, dude, she's trying to be nice to you. She's trying to be friends, okay? You're just, why do you gotta, be happy that someone wants to be friends with you, okay? Don't be like, oh, I wish you would hate me. Just, I don't know. You get my point. His emo was starting to get on my nerves for a little bit there because he just wanted everyone to hate him. He didn't want anyone to have friends, and he's like, oh. So anyway, Nico still isn't he isn't like my least favorite demigod by any means, but he is moving down the list from favorite to like third or fourth, maybe. I don't know. We'll see how things go. Anyway, so getting close to the spoiler section, but not quite. So this was the most epic ending to a book series I have ever read, okay? Now, I'm not going to go into too many details about that here. That's for the spoiler section, okay? But I will say this. So I don't think anyone's surprised, whether you've read the book or not. I don't think anyone's surprised that this book ends with a epic battle. Okay, and it was one of the just most epic battles and conclusions I've ever read in a book. My only complaint about this epic battle to end the series is where the heck are the party ponies? Okay, because those of you that are familiar with Percy Jackson, the Olympians, and I think they even had him in Heroes of Olympus at one point. But either way, Chiron, the centaur, he has a bunch of friends and relatives and whatever that wear like Viking helmets and crazy shields and they just dress in the most crazy way possible. And they always come to the rescue, like basically the cavalry. And they say they it's an army of centaurs that come and save the day from time to time, known as the party ponies. And I want to know, all right, here's this giant epic battle to determine the fate of the universe and all that. And there's no party ponies. There was no mention of them. I'm like, where the heck are the party ponies? I like the party ponies. I was kind of excited, hoping that they would show up, but no, they didn't. Maybe Rick Riordan forgot about them. I don't know, but no party ponies, and I'm mad about that. But whatever. Now the very last thing I'm going to mention before I get into the spoilers, something I probably should have mentioned earlier on in the series, and I can't believe it took me this long to finally say something about it. Okay, but the POV jumping throughout the series, I found to be very, very confusing at times because, like, you know, the book would like introduce or would reintroduce a new POV, and I would have to try to remember where that character left off. And wait, what the heck were they doing? Like, for instance, a chapter would start off with Jason woke up his with a massive headache, and I'm like, wait, Jason woke up with a massive. What the heck was Jason doing? Oh yeah, Jason got knocked out again. I remember now. So I'd have to sit back and think, what the heck happened to them last time? So I could figure out and make sense of this of what I'm reading right now. It wasn't so much of an issue in the Lost Hero or the Son of Neptune because like in the Lost Hero it was just Jason, Piper, and Leo, and then the Son of Neptune it was Percy, uh, Frank, and Hazel. So it was just these two small little groups, and they didn't really separate too much. But once Mark of Athena and House of Hades and all those other books happened, and the party became larger, and the party started to split, it started to get really confusing with this POV jumping. And I get, this story was way too complex for Rick Riordan to be able to properly tell without POV jumping. So I get it. I'm not, complaining about that, but I'm just saying it was confusing at times. So, it took a little getting used to, trying to remember where characters left off if after they haven't been mentioned for like 5 or 6 chapters. You know what I mean? But anyway, so now we move on to the spoiler section. So this is the part of the video where I say spoilers a bunch of times. So you get the hint that I'm about to enter the spoiler section, okay? So if you don't want spoilers, then you should leave the spoiler section now. Have I said spoilers enough? Hopefully I have. If not, well, I'm sorry. So, the epic battle that this book ended on. Okay, so this whole sky just opens up and all the gods of Olympus come down and save everyone, and freaking Zeus is helping Jason, Poseidon is helping Percy, Hephaestus is helping Leo, and Aphrodite is helping Piper. I just thought that was awesome that all these gods were helping their own respective children and whatnot. And my only complaint though is Aphrodite. And I made this point to my wife earlier, and she got mad at me for it. Some of you might get mad at me for this too, but whatever. Aphrodite, she was not, in my opinion, not very helpful at the battle, and because her way of helping was her standing next to her daughter Piper, going, "Yeah, you go, girl. Oh, I'm so proud of you." Just giving her words of encouragement, like, "Yeah, you go, girl. You're so awesome. I love you." Oh, and that's it. That's all she did. She just kind of encouraged her. Meanwhile, Poseidon and Percy, Poseidon is shooting a freaking stream of water shaped like horses out of his freaking trident and stuff like that, and actually hurting people. And Aphrodite's just kind of like, yeah, woo, So I don't think she contributed a whole lot. But my wife was like, oh, but she's a war goddess and whatnot. I'm like, well, this war goddess didn't really do much in the way of war, but if you're mad at me for saying that, by all means, comment it below. But I think her just giving her words of encouragement to her daughter didn't really do much, okay? Because her daughter was already a badass, even without her. So, Um, Moving on though. So, spoilers. Okay, yeah, I know we're already in the spoiler section. So, I hate spoilers. Okay, or I hate when people give me, spoilers or spoil something for me. Okay, that's why I try to warn people as much as I can when my videos require spoilers. Okay, so Octavian's death was spoiled for me way before I even read this book. Okay, like I think I was on like book 2 or something like that when Octavian's death got ruined for me, and I barely even knew who Octavian was at the time. So I was told that Octavian got pushed off of a cliff, or at least that's what I remember being told. I'm like, oh, so someone's gonna push him off a cliff. Not that I blame him because nobody likes Octavian. But I was a bit surprised when, after hearing for, months that Octavian was going to get pushed off of a cliff, it turns out that he actually got caught in his own catapult and got flung, I guess, sort of got flung off of a cliff, but I don't know. So his death was spoiled, but I guess, I don't know, maybe my memory's bad, but it wasn't spoiled in the way that it ended up actually happening. I don't know. It was kind of confusing, but now, moving on though, so Leo, one thing I like in connection to Octavian's death and the whole catapult thing is, so when Leo is fighting Gaia and he's like turning, flame on, and he's like all fiery and stuff like that, and he's going head on to fight Gaia, and he mentions that he sees a missile flying at him that suspiciously sounds like a little girl screaming. I thought that was awesome because that was Octavian. Octavian got flung by his own catapult and towards Gaia, and Leo's like, "What the heck is that? Is that little girl screaming?" And it was Octavian. So I thought that was freaking awesome because, again, everyone hates Octavian. So good. Not only is it good that he died, but he died in a hilarious way. So, but anyway. Last couple of things. Back to Nico. I know I kind of complained about him earlier, but I do have some. I know I complained about him earlier, but I do have some good things to say about him. So I like that Nico and Will, and I already knew Nico and Will were going to end up being a couple because I actually own The Sun and the Star. I'm going to be reading that soon-ish. Um, but it was nice to see that Nico and Will had a mild flirtatious moment, or a couple of moments towards the end of the book. You got to see their romance, I guess, if you will, start to flourish just a little bit, or start to spark and take off just a little bit, or hint at maybe. And also, again, with Nico and his interest in these, same sex, which, of course, nothing wrong with that. Nico finally admits to Percy that he had a crush on him. And, Percy, being the dense man that he is like, oh, so that means that you, and Nico's like, yep, that means, so what you're telling me is, yep, I'm telling you that. Well, so wait, you actually like, yes, so I like that whole kind of back and forth that Nico and Percy had. But anyway, so that's basically it. That's all the points I had to say about this book. Again, awesome way to end a series. I freaking loved it. But anyway, that's it for me. So until next time, remember, nothing in life is free except for liking, commenting, and subscribing. See ya.